bell tables, I think it's okay if we just kind of stand. I dressed something today. A balloon, yeah. It looks kind of lame, doesn't it? If you know what it can be, yeah, well, we know what it can be, right? What's going to take to get it there? Water or air? I like that. Okay, let's see. Yep. To be all that it can be, it needs a little bit of power behind it. It needs a little breath. Today is a Sunday we call Pentecost. And on that day, something very special happened. You think you know? Good, tell us. Well, yeah, they were given that commission to spread the word of God. What happened on Pentecost was Jesus had told them to wait, that he was sending the Holy Spirit. And so, on Pentecost, what happened was all of a sudden there was this big whooshing of wind, and then like tongues of fire came down on the disciples, and they were filled with the Holy Spirit, and then they were supposed to go out and share the news with everybody. And in fact, they all started speaking in different languages, so everybody who gathered for this big festival. See, the flowers, we do those because they remind us of the tongues of fire for Pentecost. So you know what happens if I let go of those, right? I might be in trouble. Anyway, what happened on Pentecost? The church exploded and they started telling people all over the world about Jesus. And so I'm giving you each a balloon today, and I want you to remember with the balloons how the Holy Spirit also fills us, and we are also sent out to tell everybody about Jesus. Okay? Okay, great. Off to Sunday school.
The first reading is from Acts 2, verses 1 through 21. When the day of Pentecost had come, the disciples were all together in one place. And suddenly from heaven there came a sound like the rush of a violent wind, and it filled the entire house where they were sitting. Divided tongues as of fire appeared among them, and a tongue rested on each of them. All of them were filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in other languages, as the Spirit gave them ability. Now there were devout Jews from every nation under heaven living in Jerusalem. And at this sound the crowd gathered and was bewildered, because each one heard them speaking in the native language of each. Amazed and astonished they asked, "Are not all these who are speaking Galileans? And how is it that we hear, each of us, in our own native language? Parthians, Medes, Elamites, and residents of Mesopotamia, Judea and Cappadocia, Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia, Egypt, and the parts of Libya belonging to Cyrene, and visitors from Rome, both Jews and proselytes, Cretans and Arabs. In our own languages we hear them speaking about God's deeds of power." All were amazed and perplexed, saying to one another, "What does this mean?" But others sneered and said, "They are filled with new wine." But Peter, standing with the 11, raised his voice and addressed them. "Men of Judea and all who live in Jerusalem, let this be known to you, and listen to what I say. Indeed, these are not drunk, as you suppose, for it is only 9 o'clock in the morning. No, this is what was spoken through the prophet Joel. In the last days it will be, God declares, that I will pour out my Spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. Even among my slaves, both men and women, in those days I will pour out my Spirit, and they shall prophesy. And I will show portents in the heaven above and signs on the earth below, blood and fire and smoky mist. The sun shall be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the Lord's great and glorious day. Then everyone who calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. The psalm is 104, verses 25 through 35 and 37 in your bulletin. Lord, how manifold are your works. In wisdom you have made them all. The earth is full of your creatures. Yonder is the great and wide sea, with its living things too many to number, creatures both small and great. There move the ships, and there is that Leviathan, which you have made for the sport of it. All of them look to you to give them their food in due season. You give it to them, they gather it. You open your hand, and they are filled with good things. You hide your face, and they are terrified. You take away their breath, and they die and return to their dust. You send forth your Spirit, and they are created, and so you renew the face of the earth. May the Lord endure forever. May the Lord rejoice in all his works. He looks at the earth, and it trembles. He touches the mountains, and they smoke. I will sing to the Lord as long as I live. I will praise my God while I have my being. May these words of mine please him. I will rejoice in the Lord. Bless the Lord, O my soul. Hallelujah. The second reading is from Romans 8, verses 22 through 27. We know that the whole creation has been groaning in labor pains until now. And not only the creation, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, groan inwardly while we wait for adoption, the redemption of our bodies. For in hope we were saved. Now hope that is seen is not hope, for who hopes for what is seen? But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with patience. Likewise, the Spirit helps us in our weakness, for we do not know how to pray as we ought, but that very Spirit intercedes with sighs too deep for words. And God, who searches the heart, knows what is in the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for the saints according to the will of God. Thanks be to God.
The Holy Gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ according to John.
Glory to you, Lord Christ.
Jesus said to his disciples, "When the Advocate comes, whom I will send to you from the Father, the Spirit of truth who comes from the Father, he will testify on my behalf. You also are to testify because you have been with me from the beginning. I did not say these things to you from the beginning because I was with you. But now I am going to him who sent me. Yet none of you asks me, 'Where are you going?' But because I have said these things to you, sorrow has filled your hearts. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth, it is to your advantage that I go away. For if I do not go away, the Advocate will not come to you. But if I go, I will send him to you. And when he comes, he will prove the world wrong about sin and righteousness and judgment. About sin, because they do not believe in me. About righteousness, because I am going to the Father, and you will see me no longer. About judgment, because the ruler of this world has been condemned. I still have many things to say to you, but you cannot bear them now. When the Spirit of truth comes, he will guide you into all truth. For he will not speak on his own, but will speak whatever he hears, and he will declare to you the things that are to come. He will glorify me, because he will take what is mine and declare it to you. All that the Father has is mine. For this reason I said that he will take what is mine and declare it to you. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord.
Jesús dijo a sus discípulos: Cuando venga el defensor que yo voy a enviar de parte del Padre, el Espíritu de la verdad que procede del Padre, Él será mi testigo. Y también ustedes serán mis testigos, porque han estado conmigo desde el principio. No les dije esto desde el principio porque yo estaba con ustedes, pero ahora me voy a estar con Él que me ha enviado. Y ninguno de ustedes me preguntará a dónde voy. Al contrario, se han puesto muy tristes porque les he dicho estas cosas. Pero les digo la verdad, es mejor para ustedes que yo me vaya, porque si no me voy, el defensor no vendrá para estar con ustedes. Pero si me voy, yo se los enviaré. Cuando Él venga, mostrará claramente a la gente del mundo quién es pecador, quién es inocente y quién recibe el juicio de Dios, quién es pecador. El que no cree en mí, quién es inocente. Yo, que voy al Padre, y ustedes ya no me verán. ¿Quién recibe el juicio de Dios? El que gobierna este mundo, que ya ha sido condenado. Tengo mucho más que decirles, pero en este momento sería demasiado para ustedes. Cuando venga el Espíritu de la verdad, Él os guiará toda la verdad, porque no hablará por su propia cuenta, sino que dirá todo lo que oiga y les hará saber las cosas que van a suceder. Él mostrará mi gloria, porque recibirá de lo que es mío y se lo dará a conocer a ustedes. Todo lo que el Padre tiene es mío también. Por eso dije que el Espíritu recibirá de lo que es mío y se lo dará a conocer a ustedes. El Evangelio del Señor.